My name is Dr. Diarmuid Torney. I'm an Associate Professor in Environmental Politics at Dublin City University and Chair of the Future Earth Ireland National Committee. This year marks the 50th anniversary of the first Earth Day, held on the 22nd of April 1970. This landmark gives us an opportunity to reflect on our journey in the 50 years since the original Earth Day and to think about what the next 50 years will bring. My field of study is political science, and I'm particularly interested in studying the politics of climate change and other environmental issues. Politics is about how we make decisions collectively. As Harold Lasswell famously put it, politics concerns questions about who gets what, when, and how. Climate change is such an intractable problem in no small part because it is deeply political. Countries struggle to agree on what a fair allocation of costs and benefits would look like. At a national level, particularly in democratic states, politicians are often encouraged to focus on shorter time horizons and find it difficult to look beyond the next election. This makes tackling long-term problems like climate change particularly difficult. My research has focused on a range of questions regarding the politics of climate change, including how and why countries have responded in diverse ways to climate change, how policies and ideas about climate change spread between countries, and how climate policy frameworks can be made more democratic and effective. Earth Day began in the United States. It was underpinned by rising public concern about environmental pollution that had grown over the previous decade, driven by landmark publications such as Rachel Carson's New York Times bestseller Silent Spring, published in 1962. The original Earth Day brought an estimated 20 million people onto the streets of America. It is credited with contributing to the creation of America's Environmental Protection Agency and the passage of its Clean Air, Clean Water, and Endangered Species Acts. In the 50 years since 1970, Earth Day and environmental politics more broadly has gone global. Governments around the world have put in place an array of environmental laws and policies. At the international level, states have negotiated a vast array of regional and global environmental agreements. Global environmental governance has increasingly involved non-state actors as well, including businesses, civil society organizations, faith-based groups, and governing authorities other than national governments, such as cities and subnational states. This web of environmental governance has led some commentators to suggest that environmental protection has become a foundational norm of international society, a standard of behavior by which civilized states are expected to behave. But there is also a striking paradox at the heart of global environmental governance. The denser our web of governance frameworks becomes, the worse the state of the global environment. This doesn't necessarily mean that individual treaties or laws have failed. Instead, it points to the fact that our governance responses often do not go far enough to tackle the root causes of environmental degradation. Many of the drivers of environmental degradation are fundamentally enmeshed in our current economic and social systems. This may seem like a bleak prognosis. Looking forward, what do the next 50 years hold? We are in the midst of an epoch-defining moment in history. The COVID-19 pandemic is a global tragedy. It is stretching the limits of our healthcare systems around the world, leaving a trail of death in its wake. The pandemic is also upending conventional wisdoms in all sorts of ways. This is what social scientists call a critical juncture. Most of the time, societies are more or less locked into particular economic, political, and societal pathways. But moments of crisis, critical junctures, provide spaces for otherwise unthinkable changes in direction. The COVID-19 crisis opens up new questions about the appropriate role of government in the economy and society, about inequality, and about the way we structure our working lives, and what really matters to us. This provides new opportunities for sustainable development, including through greening fiscal stimulus measures that governments will introduce to restart their economies. But there are big risks as well. Interest in sustainability has historically tended to wane during economic downturns, and government funding may be cut for sustainability initiatives. The COVID-19 crisis provides a potential critical juncture, an opportunity to change direction. But the outcome will be determined by the decisions we take collectively over the months ahead. Thanks for watching. This is the final video in our series of expert reflections curated by Future Earth Ireland to mark 50 years since the first Earth Day. Thank you to all of the experts from academia, policymaking, civil society and business who have contributed their insights to this video series. To watch other videos or to find out more about Future Earth Ireland, check out Future Earth Ireland on Twitter or go to the Future Earth Ireland website.